If your team got guaranteed money, tell them call me.
Whoop. Make me say, my. I done been around the world.
Yeah, I was made for this.
Player Performance with J.A. Cavalier.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Friday for all those that are going to be watching here live on the J.A. Cavalier channel. I am Guns Picks, and I'm already seeing people in the chat. I'm seeing Kristen in the building says, let's get it. And, of course, everybody joining in with the bang bangs. And I do love it because we have an electric slate to break down. I mean, this is the part of college basketball that I love. We're getting to the 6-week window, or maybe even the 7-week window of where this season really comes to its climax. This is the best part because we have so much data to dissect. We have so much to go over, and this is where we start slamming bets. We're talking max bets. I may have daily max bets. Is it going to be every day? I don't know that for sure. But I will tell you this. The max bets have been cooking, not for myself, but also for I will take my crown and take it off and give it to Coach for college basketball, because that dude is on a run. 9-1 in his last 10 max bets. I am on a 5-1 run myself. And if you're not a VIP, you need to be. And we're giving a $99 value on our week of picks, and you get all the max bets. And I mean, Coach is dropping max bets left and right daily, and of course I am too. You got to join up on that one. Selfless promotion, but I want to make sure I give my props to Coach and what he's doing. Of course, Coach can be on the show tonight. He's traveling around in PA, but he will be back soon. Don't worry about it. He'll give his information on a lot of these plays. Want to shout out to the chat. I see Lacrosse in there. My guy, what's going on, brother? Because I want you to go over the Hampton game. I knew you were going to talk about the Hampton game. I did look at that game. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Pass. I had to pass in the game. Just doesn't fit my cap. It's not that I didn't want to make a play in that game because it seems remedial or below me to take a mid-major. It's not, because I'm going to give a mid-major at the end of this show. That is going to be my best bet. And by the way, if you've been watching this show, the best bets on this show, everything that I've given out, 3-0. It's going to be 4-0. And I see Coach Rick, I think, is in the building. Giddy up. Coach is going to be watching the show. I mean, he wants to be here. If he wants to drop a couple plays in the chat, please do. Please do, and I'll post them here as we're going over the games. If Coach, you want to do that, please do. Love Coach in the building. Coach is on an electric heater, man. I'm telling you, it is worth buying that $99 a week. Or if you just want to buy Coach, man, shit. I mean, Coach is putting out his deals. He's going to have the rest of the year deal coming out too. So go check that out. But without further ado, I digress. Let's go into the plays that pay the bills. Let's talk about the first game on the board. Let's talk about Kansas versus Iowa State here at Hilton Coliseum in Ames, Iowa at 1 p.m. East is going to be the tip-off on this one on Saturday. And really, situationally, you have to be looking at the Iowa State side if you're going to be taking a side, right? I don't know if I'm going to be getting there on paper, but that's probably the side you have to look at, because situationally, Kansas is off the highs of highs. They just beat the number one team in the country in Arizona. They beat them at home in Lawrence, Kansas. But you have Iowa State that's coming off the lows of lows. And by the way, this was a game that I picked early in the week. I told you to take Kansas on the money line. Lo and behold, it came to fruition. I'm sorry, TCU on the plus. I think it was plus 7.5. I'm sorry about that one. I got that a little bit confused. I also told you to take Kansas against Arizona. So that was 2 for 2 earlier in this week. Of course, Kansas coming off that home win, like I said, and Iowa State coming off that road loss. 7.5 point road favorites in TCU. Very tough place to play, by the way, against those Horned Frogs. You have two top 10 defenses going against each other in this situation. You have Iowa State that's ranked 6th in defensive efficiency. And of course, you have Kansas that's ranked 9th in defensive efficiency. Offensively, though, weaker team on the Kansas side. They're 40th in offensive efficiency going against a Iowa State team that is 17th in the country in offensive efficiency. Now, when you look at Kansas, they've been on the road. They've been at home 3 out of their last 4 games, and they're off a home back-to-back. So situationally, they're going on the road off a home back-to-back. Not a great place you want to be situationally. And this is going to be an outcome to watch on the side. And why I say this is more to go geared towards the Iowa State side. It's like we got to look at the schedule every time you look at this from a handicap perspective. Iowa State has a little bit of a gauntlet, like a small gauntlet here. Of course, they lost to Kansas State, and I said it. It's because they had the two big games coming up. They had to play Kansas, and they have to play Houston on Monday on a 2-day rest. So on this game, from a side perspective, is Iowa State going to show up for this game and absolutely smoke Kansas, which they are going to be super motivated off the loss, and then maybe lay an egg against Houston? We'll have to see what happens in that one. The outcome is going to be very interesting. I will say that from a handicapping perspective when we're looking at the Monday card. And then you got to look at so from what a capping standpoint, let's back this up for a little bit. Let's look at the team total. Let's play a Coach Rick here. Coach Rick is the team total guru. I'm going to step into this role because he's not in the car with me. Maybe he agrees, and maybe he can like drop it into the chat. Iowa State is 9th overall in opposing scoring, and when they're at home, they hold opponents to 61.2 points per game at home. They're going against a Kansas team that, as much as success as they've had as of late, especially in conference, they're 112th in scoring this year, and they only average 74.6 points per game on the road. Remember that total when I give you the total of what the books are grading Kansas at in this situation. Kansas has been held to 75 points or less on the road in 5 of their last 7 road games. And all their conference road games, let me tell you what's going to be going on here. So they play Texas Tech. Texas Tech defensively, everybody says, oh, they're a great defense. Not this year. They were held to 64 points on the road. Colorado, are they a great defense? I don't know about that one. I don't think they are. 75 points they were held to. West Virginia, 75 points. UCF, not a great defense. I'll tell you that much. On the road, 75 points. This reeks of a complete flat spot here offensively for Kansas. And Kansas, quite frankly, is not a great offense. They're ranked 40th in the country in offensive efficiency. This is not a great number to have going into a tournament, by the way, if you're looking at Kansas to make a run. I will say this. Kansas off a big win. You have Iowa State off a big loss. Iowa State going back home. I think defensively, this team is going to be stepping up. So if this is going to be a game that's going to make my card, it's going to be Kansas. And I'll say this right now. This is going to be a VIP. I'm going to take Kansas team total under 69.5. You can get it right now on, I think, MGM. You can get that right now. I know a lot of books don't drop the team totals, and I know a lot of books don't give out team totals depending on what state you live in. But if you can get the team total under on Kansas right now, I think that has validity. So go for that one. And I see that everybody dropping in the chat. Drop your picks. Drop like your best bets, and we'll drop them at the end of the show. But let's get into the next play on the board. Let's talk about UK going against Florida, a Florida team that is on fire right now. And they're getting back home in Gainesville, Florida, and this is going to be a 3 p.m. tip-off on Saturday. And it is the number 1 and number 2 SEC teams in conference right now. This is going to be a little bit of a battle. It's going to be a premier game at 3 p.m. on the East Coast. And you just have a Florida team that just is nonstop on a tear right now. 8-1 straight up in ATS in the last 9 games. But they're going against a Kentucky team that's on a little bit of a heater themselves. They're 8-1 straight up in their last 9 games, and they've won 3 straight. Statistically, you look at the numbers from a KenPom perspective, Florida's the better team. 14th in offensive efficiency, 5th in defensive efficiency. Kentucky is 39th in offensive efficiency, 32nd in defensive efficiency. Kentucky is also in, if you look at the two situations between these two teams, they're off different scheduling situations, right? Kentucky is off a home back to back. Now they're on the road. Florida is off a road back to back. Now they're at home. So you have a yin and yang as far as the scheduling situation goes between these two teams. You have to look at that from a perspective of where these teams are coming from. 2 to 3 games for previous to what's coming up in the next 2 games. You from a capper standpoint, this is stuff that you need to know, especially late in the season. You have a Kentucky team that is a decent scoring team, but they average 10 points less on the road than they do at home. So you have a Kentucky team that really hasn't played well on the road this year. They're 2-4 ATS on the road, and they're 2-3 ATS as a dog, kind of like in this pseudo Is the stock too low on them? Is it time to buy? I don't know what about that one. But this is the highest dog line that they've faced all season long, whether it's home or away. Of course, they're a double-digit dog in this situation, which they have not been in yet. So what do I do on this one? I do the tried and true, what Coach Rick would do. Let's look at the team total. Let's do Kentucky's defense has allowed 80.4 points per game to opponents on the road compared to allowing 66.8 points per game at home. You have a Florida team that is pretty much the same every time they go on the home or road. They average 88.8 points per game at home, and they've averaged 92 points per game in their last 3 games, right? In the last 5 meetings, the total has gone over. I do kind of lean towards the over on this one. But what is keeping me off this game completely? And I just wanted to give some sort of formulation of a cap. The total's like 152, 152 and a half. That is kind of low when you're dealing with Florida. And it's kind of low when you're dealing with Kentucky in a lot of situations. Florida's a high scoring team. They usually see the 160s in most cases. And now we're not seeing it here. And I thought the team total was low on them with Florida. Florida's team total right now set at 82 and a half. Why? This team averages 88.8 points per game at home this season. And I just told you, Kentucky allows 80.4 points per game on the road versus allowing 66.8 points per game on the road. So what are the books trying to tell you? It's crazy. I don't know about this one. I'm a little bit suspicious. And it's almost like that meme from Fury Road, Mad Max, where they have the main character. I can't think of his name right now. Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy, like pointing, goes, nope, that's bait. That's bait. That's what I think of when I look at this one. So I do lean towards the team total on this one with Florida at 82 and a half. I do lean, but is it going to be on my card? Absolutely not. It's just not. And because I would expect that total to be 89.5, especially playing at home in Gainesville, or maybe 90 and a half to make it an over. It's more of what the books are grading this at that makes it a little bit suspicious. So maybe this is one of those spots that Florida, as hot as they are, may fall flat to this Kentucky team. I know there's going to be a lot of sharp people that are going to be taking Kentucky on that big number. And then we're going to see that line drop probably past that 10. It may happen. It may not. But this is a game I may stay away from on this one. I love Florida so much, and I do think they are a play-on team in a lot of cases. But this is just a game I may have to pass. But if I'm going to lean one direction or another, I'm going to be taking the team total over 82 and a half. Not officially. Don't think I can get there on paper. Speaking of getting there on paper, let's talk about the next game on the board. Let's go to the Big 12 with Texas Tech going against Arizona. In Tucson, Arizona, 6:30 p.m. is going to be the tip-off on the East Coast on Saturday. And let me tell you what. Arizona's coming off their first loss of the season, ladies and gentlemen. They just got beat by Kansas in the Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas. And Arizona is going to be – they're going to have that blood in the back of their throat after getting punched in the mouth. You know what I'm talking about? But they're going against the Texas Tech team that is off back-to-back wins. They're kind of playing a little bit heated up. However, they're 2-2 straight up in their last 4 games. Both teams, great statistically. I got to give them that. I say top 25 or close to top 25 in most statistics. You have Texas Tech that's ranked 16th in offensive efficiency going against, 26th in defensive efficiency. And they're going against an Arizona team that is 8th in offensive efficiency, 2nd in defensive efficiency. It is a high spread. I will say that moderately the highest spread we've seen in a while dealing with Texas Tech, especially in the dog roll. But you've seen these high spreads before when you're dealing with Texas Tech, right? They lost by 4 to Houston, 7.5-point dogs. They actually beat Duke outright on a neutral court, and Duke was a 10-point favorite in that situation. You have Arizona that is 1-2 ATS as a single-digit favorite of 3 points or more this season. That is what is keeping me off the full game. But let's take a step back. Let's look at what these teams do from a half perspective, right? You have Texas Tech. They've been terrible when they are a full game dog in the first half. They were down 13 points against Illinois. They were 3.5-point dogs in that situation. They were down 23 points to Purdue earlier in the season at halftime. And I'm talking about just at halftime when I'm talking about these numbers here, folks. 2.5-point dogs in that situation on the full game. Down 10 points versus Duke at halftime when they were a 10-point dog to them and they came back. Arizona is ranked 5th in scoring in the first half. They have a plus 15-point differential versus their opponents in the first half at home. What does that tell you? Arizona coming off a loss. Arizona getting back home, a place that they play well, especially in the first half, is Arizona comes out and they try to suffocate you early and kill you. So when you come out in the second half, it doesn't matter what happens on the outcome. So what do? You take Arizona in the first half and you don't worry about the full game spread. Now, there is an opportunity if you want to get a little bit cute in this game, and it's not going to make my card. I'm telling you this right now. I'm not going to be playing with both of these teams right now because, situationally, it is a good Arizona spot, but I think Arizona still has a target on their back. I'm wearing the hat right now because I do think Arizona is top 3 in the country. Got to be right now. I don't think there's any way, shape, or form about it. I think the Big 12 is the best conference currently in terms of competition. We'll see what happens in the tournament. But I do think Arizona does come out swinging here in the first half. After that loss, I think they played a great first half versus Kansas, and they played a bad second half. And Texas Tech is notoriously in the dog roll, has played bad in the first half and come back in the second half. You could take the first half in Arizona and then thread the needle, as I say, and hammer, maybe even take those winnings, that profit that you got. I'm not saying take everything, but maybe you take that profit and you go, you know what? Let's try to break even. We're either going to break even or we're going to double our money here, and we're going to take Texas Tech in the second half. That's what I would do in this game. Arizona in the first half, Texas Tech in the second half. That's how I'm going to play this one. That is kind of the thread the needle play, as they say. It's just a lean, but that is how you situationally cap some of these games. You don't necessarily take the full game side or the full game total. You try to find the best situation for a lot of these teams, and I think that has some validity. Woo! We did it here. We broke down 3 games, and don't you go away because I have my best bet coming. We're 3-0 in the best bets on this show, on the player performance. And all I have to ask you to do, because I'm giving this information for the low, low price of $0.00, all you have to do is hit the like button. There's a thumb right here underneath the video. It goes like this. Smack that thumb if you're liking the content that is coming out here. And also, if you have not subscribed to the J Cavalier channel, I hope you have. If you have not, might as well subscribe and hit the bell because live content throughout college basketball is coming out of this channel. It's going to come from myself. It's going to come from Coach Rick. It's going to come from both of us. And I will say this, if there's anybody that is the hottest cappers on the planet, you could put Coach and I in at least the top 3. We are the Arizona. We are the Duke of college basketball handicapping and college football for that matter. I'll talk to the chat here if you guys want to drop chats before I get to the best bet. But make sure you join up for the channel and make sure you follow us along all the way through the March Madness and National Championship. And if you want to go join our Telegrams, links are below. Guns Picks and Coach Rick, and you need to follow along because Coach Rick, especially on a heater on the 50 dime max bets, he's been dropping them virtually daily. He didn't have one today, but he's going to have one for Saturday for damn sure. And he's on a 9-1 run in those plays. Of course, I'm on a 5-1 run. I dropped one today. So if you want to go join that right now, $49 for the day pass, or you could just get in for the week and invest in both of us. And cash some tickets and make some profit. $99. That's all it will cost you. And we'll have season deals as well. All right. I see Lacrosse in there. He says Marquette money line versus Xavier. I mean, this Marquette team here, let me tell you about them. I don't trust them. But do I trust Xavier? Absolutely not. What happened to those teams? What happened? Lacrosse says Florida money line. I mean, okay, as a double-digit favorite. I mean, it's going to be heavily, heavily juiced. Hopefully, you tie it in with something else, unless you're tying it in with Marquette money line. Well, okay, fine. We'll have to see about that one. Not on my board, but like I said, I gave you the Florida cap on that one. All right. Without further ado, 3-0 on these plays. Let's make it 4-0. Best bet time. Let's go. All right, best bet time, and I'm going to get in the dirtiest, the dirty, the nittiest, and the gritty. We're going into the SoCon. That's right. We're going Mercer versus Citadel at McAllister. Hopefully I said that right. McAllister Fieldhouse in Charleston, South Carolina. 1 p.m. is going to be the tip-off on this one. And yes, I'm going to be betting one of the worst teams in college basketball. Because why? I want to get nuts. You want to get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts. Citadel is one of the worst teams statistically. 332nd in offensive efficiency, 343rd in defensive efficiency, but they're going against a Mercer team that is kind of playing very good basketball right now. They're third in SoCon. They're off a win versus Furman at home. However, they're 2-5 ATS in the last 7 games. So how trustworthy are they from a betting perspective, right? What I say about Mercer, and I tell everybody about Mercer, how do you bet Mercer? Well, you bet them at home. You fade them on the road. Why? Because they're 2-8 straight up in their last 10 road games on the road. They're 0-3 ATS as a road favorite in their last 3. You don't bet Mercer on the road. They do not travel here, folks. Even as bad as Citadel has been, you don't bet Mercer on the road. And you have to look at the situational play here. Last time these two teams met, January 7th, right? Citadel lost by 38 points to Mercer. That's right, 38 points. They were 16-point road dogs in that situation. What did the books do? Let's grade this game down to 9.5 and make them a home dog. Why? Because the books know. We don't try to be smarter than the books. We play what the books are trying to tell us, right? And you got to look at the situation for Mercer. They are off a home back-to-back. After this game, they got to play Chattanooga. And then Citadel is the first leg of a 3-game home stretch after going on an exhausting 3-game road stretch. So this is a team that is going to feel great at home. And when you look at Citadel at home, remarkably, Citadel is 4-1 straight up and 5-0 ATS in their last 5 home games. I'm not going to tell you to take the money line. I'm not. I will not, because I'm a smart handicapper. I'm a smart bettor. I will say Citadel plus 9.5 is the best bet for the show, but I will say this. If you want to get cute, and don't blame me if you get cute, if you're a degenerate, don't blame me, because I'm not going to do this. I might do this. I'm not going to do this. I might do this, but I'm not going to do this. Citadel on the money line would be the craziest thing that you've ever done in your life. And that thing cashes. I want to see your tickets. Because I'm not going to bet it, but I will say this. Cincinnati Citadel on the money line would be crazy. Citadel plus 9.5 is the best bet for the show. And I think that has validity. So Citadel plus 9.5 is how I'm going to play this one. I'm 3-0 on the best bet since the inauguration or the inception of the college basketball player performance. And I'm going to continue moving. I want to be absolutely undefeated going into March Madness with these plays. So if you want to tail along, ride with the GUNZPICKS, do that. Citadel plus 9.5 and maybe a little sprinkle on the money line just for shits and grins. All right. Going to the chat, we have Lacrosse, and I had some talks with him earlier today. He loves Hampton money line, he likes Florida money line, and Marquette money line. He got a 3-team that baby to make any money on this one. Grind hard, pop, giving the fire. Of course, my guy Coach still in the car, driving along. Hopefully he's still watching it along. But I mean, my God, we had an electric card there. So I gave you 4 looks. 3 leans, and of course a best bet that will be official for the show. That will be on my record at 3-0 currently. I appreciate you guys watching along. If you're watching now, you're watching later, you're watching anytime, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel and drop a few comments in there. Yes, I will check the comments as much as I possibly can. I'll respond to them. I love reading them if I'm given the sharpest information on the planet. And of course, if Coach Rick is doing the same thing, Coach does a show on Monday nights. I do a show on Tuesday nights, or actually, I'm sorry. He does a show on Tuesday morning to break down the Tuesday slate. And I do a show on Tuesday night to break down the Wednesday slate from a scheduling perspective. And then of course you get both of us on Fridays, usually. Of course, Coach is traveling right now, couldn't do it tonight, but that's going to do it here for Player Performance. Make sure you check out our Telegram for all the deals that we got. $99 for the week is the one I suggest to you guys. You get my picks, you get Coach Rick's pick, and you get Jay Cavalier's picks because he loved to throw in some picks on the weekend. So go check that out right now. $99 on our Telegram. You don't know where to go? links down below in the comments. I appreciate you guys. Let's have ourselves a damn Saturday. Let's cash some tickets. Let's dominate double. And as always, yup. Ooh, let's keep dancing. Bang.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort.